Alright, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. Back when we heard about Preacher coming to AMC, we both decided we were going to try to follow it weekly. We're going to be recapping the newest episodes. We both heard about Preacher about 3 years ago. It started back in 1995. It ended in 2000 with 66 comics.
Yeah, and I remember those comics. I'd be in the comic store, you see those really weird covers, man. I remember one had some half-naked dude just standing there looking all tweaked out on drugs, just weird, So I never really did get into them until later, but really the comic itself moves at a very fast pace. So Bangerz and I were a little on the fence on how the episodes or how many seasons they would try to create with the story, being as how there's only 66 made. Whereas with The Walking Dead, they're still making them, so...
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we're not sure how this is really going to play out. To start off with Dominic Cooper, he plays the role of Jesse Custer. All that's really explained about him in the TV show is that his father's being killed is a nightmare, kind of foreshadows Jesse's family, if you know the comics. He goes back to Annville, Texas, to basically become a small-town preacher. I found that his hair is off. In the comic, he has curly hair, and in this, it just looks like hair gel. And I don't know, to me that throws it off. It's not enough to ruin it, though. And the actor himself, Dominic Cooper, does do a good job playing him.
Yeah, I agree. And then next up, we have Ruth Negga, and she plays the role of Tulip. Tulip is introduced right, but wrong. In the comics, she's in trouble, and then also in the TV show, she's in trouble. But this time, it's kind of like a fight in a car instead of her shooting someone in a car. The character does look quite a bit different. The comic character is blonde hair, white with blonde hair. She is obviously African American with curly hair. It doesn't matter to the story whatsoever. She's been playing it great so far.
Yeah, just physically
subtle
different.
differences.
Yeah. Finally, though, Joseph Gilgun, his character's named Cassidy, or Cass. Cass is introduced poorly. They introduce him on some plane and shit, just all wrong. I wanted to see the 1995 kind of punk feel.
When it was written.
Yeah, and they're basically showing us a modern day punk that feels almost hipster. We're supposed to meet him when Tulip runs into him from shooting the guy in the face, as she said, in the car, and she's supposed to run into him as a getaway driver. That doesn't really happen in this. He still is badass, though. He's his typical badass cast self. Strangely enough, in the first episode, we're also introduced to Ian Coletti as Eugene. He plays a boy with a strangely disfigured face, but we're going to try and remain as spoiler-free for the most part. So we probably aren't going to talk about him yet. In the comics, he's met later, though, in a gun standoff and not as a friend with Preacher or Jesse, however you want to refer to him.
Yeah, there's a different approach to the city sheriff. He's not racist, he's fatter, there's no mention of him being, homophobic or saying anything homophobic. It really changes the hick dick in the comics to more of a asshole cop.
Yeah, you hate him in the comics because he's just this racist bigot, he's just a bad person.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, he's just kind of that asshole cop.
So the only piece of spoiler we are going to say is talking about Genesis, and if you don't know who it is, you will probably find out soon enough. The backstory to Genesis given in the TV show is it's looking for a host, and people are exploding, but there's no real explanation.
Yeah, you do see a power of Genesis, which is the mind control. Preacher tells this annoying fucking guy, be brave, tell her the truth, and open your heart.
And he's talking about his mother.
Yeah, his mother, right? So it was an awesome scene. I'm not going to give away what happens, but it's not in the comic, but it does show Genesis's power in a subtle way. And yeah, that part was a nice addition, If you're going to write some shit in, write awesome scenes like that. The show does have the comic Preacher feel. We're not really slamming the show. We're just kind of making comparisons to, the comic versus the TV show.
There is a bar battle in the comic, which is portrayed in the first episode.
Yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah, it was just as good, yeah. The comic does have a Heaven storyline right off the hop. They have not really touched on the Heaven storyline at all.
They showed 2 characters, and that was really it. Another character that they haven't shown yet is the Saint of Killers. Again, no spoilers, but has not been shown.
I have a feeling we will be seeing this just possibly later, which is kind of out of order. So no mention of Genesis, we said, which means no exploding church. So yeah, typical AMC not following the story. The comics are already written. You're almost going out of your way to change the already concrete story, which is making it out of order and compared to the comic. The show is promising though, and it does feel loosely based on the comic as opposed to based on the comic.
Okay, so sadly AMC is trying the same thing that they did with The Walking Dead. They're doing a talking preacher. I found it a little bit annoying. It's a bit of a gimmick. It's the same host, it's the same time slot, it's the same, and you know what? I didn't watch The Talking Dead.
No.
And you know what? I'm a hardcore Walking Dead comic fan, and really, I don't mind. I didn't really care about the Q&A with the actors, and I didn't want to see any spoilers.
Yeah.
We are really against spoilers, or giving away spoilers.
I don't even watch movie trailers because since Skyfall,
it just shows everything.
They gave away the whole beginning of that movie, so I refuse to ever watch a fucking trailer. For whatever reason, though, probably to increase the hype or to try and get as many views as possible, next week's episode of Preacher on May 29th, I believe, will also be the pilot episode again, and followed by, once again, the Talking Preacher. This has been another Bangerz and Mash. Don't forget to tune in and subscribe, like our videos. Don't forget to donate your Boba Fett merchandise. And until next time, fuck off.